Hey everybody, I just wanted to reach out and tell everyone from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate your being my students through this semester. For those of you that are graduating, you hold a very special place in my heart right now. You're not getting what you deserve in a transition in life, but um, there's not a way to make up for that. There's not a way to celebrate things differently enough. There's not a way to do anything other, I think, than practice acceptance, um, practice what we do best, and what we do best as social workers is cope and become creative and figure out ways to reach people. So I wanted to pass along one more thing for you as members of the spring semester of the pandemic. Um, we get creative, especially for those of us that work with young people, get really creative at times. I just wrapped up a social lesson with my high schoolers and thought I would give a shout out to you and let you know what you needed to do this. I do a compartment with our health teacher talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the importance of putting things in a priority order first in life to emphasize self-care. I'll figure out how to upload that video, but I wanted to let you know what you needed to actually make the project work and the planning behind it. I use mason jars. You can either use ones that have a narrow mouth to them, or I prefer to use the wide mouth ones as well. The wide mouth are great because you can use those and put what you need most is you need 14 ping pong balls. So now that your college days are over, if you are a college student that lived on campus and used pong balls for something else, now change your life and put it somewhere else. I take these and I just use Sharpies and I will actually write on each one of these. Usually I do it with a class if I want to have more emphasis, and put at least 14 fundamentals. Usually are the things that are absolutely on the bottom hierarchy of needs, but then I also incorporate, as you go up a couple of the steps, things that we need for self-care and a part of that inner self as well as all of our physical needs. Anyway, you can either choose, I've used marbles in the past. I lost my marbles in the pandemic. I didn't have enough. So I opted on a second choice. I've also used pebbles, or the next thing that you need. So this is just simple aquarium pebbles. I've actually gathered them like at creeks before, and I've done this like out in the woods campsite kind of stuff. There's a really way that you can do this with just whatever resources you have. And then the other thing that you need is sand. I would recommend using playground sand if you can get it. I've seen this also be done with water and to separate things to show how you can put all of the different things in your life, both the foundations, the middle piece, and then all of the fillers. I like to use sand because I talk about it filling up our time and sometimes having an hourglass. So those are the things that you need. You need 6 jars for stuff. I would recommend having an extra jar because as you put these together, you're also going to have to take it apart so that you can use it over and over. Mason jars, when you buy them, come with these lids on them, which can be helpful if you want to invest in plain lids. Sometimes I do that, but these are a nice thing that I can just kind of toss around at different times and maybe have kids rate things, what they liked or didn't like on them too. So you need 6 mason jars, the lids, a spare, something, it doesn't have to be a mason jar, but something that you can actually use to separate everything out, because once you put all of it together, you will also need either a filter of some kind. I have found these, our local hardware store, they're like a minnow catcher. They work great because they fit right down in here. So when you do this, you show how the sand filler that takes up, and you put this together like that. So these things together, and at the end of the lesson, when you pull it together, you're trying to take this back apart. And so putting it inside of a container like this, where there's the narrow mouth to it, it can be kind of hard, but you can separate it out and then just put it back in the jar. So anyway, there's a little helpful it's nice to do in a group setting, in a psychoeducational setting, but I also really like to use it as a long drawn out thing. Maybe if I'm working with somebody rewriting a story, and taking pieces throughout an entire session and processing it all the way through. So um, I don't think I can give you fairly something that you deserve to finally end this semester, but I do wish you all the best of luck in whatever your next adventure is. And I also hope that you all remain in good health.